a major surprise. The Iranian president announces a halt to targeting Gulf countries' territories, but the Iranian Revolutionary Guard responds to him, "We will not stop this, and we will continue to pound all American military bases in the region." However, we see another development as the third aircraft carrier has now started moving toward the region, but the reason is to replace the aircraft carriers that have suffered heavy losses. We also see suspicious movements by America, suggesting that a major shift may take place in the Middle East in the coming days. So, will America sacrifice Israel in order to protect its interests in the region? Very important details. We'll take a break now and we'll be back. Stay with us. Dear viewers, peace be upon you and God's mercy and blessings, and welcome to our new episode today, God willing, from the series of opinion episodes which we always dedicate to following this war taking place in the Middle East between Iran and the Epstein Alliance. Today, dear viewers, we begin this episode with the speech delivered by the Iranian President Masoud Bazeshkian this morning, in which he called on the Iranian people to stand firm and to set aside all differences until the country emerges from this battle with dignity. That's how he put it, with dignity. But the most important points in this speech were two things. The first point is that he once again affirmed the strength and resilience of Iran and sent a message to the Epstein Alliance. He told them that any idea of surrender is just an illusion, just a dream. He said it's just a dream and they should bury it forever. He said that Iran will not surrender and will not bow down no matter what. The second point, which is the most important, Bazeshkian offered an apology to all neighboring countries, mainly the Gulf countries, where American military bases on their soil were directly attacked by Iran. He told them, now we will stop targeting these countries, but only on one condition: if Iran is not attacked from these countries. This means that Iran will stop targeting these American military bases located on the territory of the countries in the region. But any country from whose territory, territorial waters, or airspace attacks are launched against Iran, the Iranian response will be overwhelming and decisive. Bazeshkian said that this decision came from the Supreme Leadership Council, and he said it came after mediation and after a request from Russian President Putin. Putin during the past few days was directly communicating with all the Gulf countries, and he was offering them assistance. Now, after a full week of the war, he contacted Iran and asked them to stop striking the territories of the Gulf countries or the region in general. So now we must conclude something very important, something that confirms why Iran was focusing its attacks from the beginning strongly and at a very fast pace on the American military bases spread across all the territories of the Gulf countries. Because it was betting on the factor of time, it was betting on achieving the main objective of that completely as soon as possible. Today, when Iran comes out with this decision, pay close attention. It comes after it succeeded in destroying almost all the American military bases in the region, to the point that there might not be anything left in these American bases that can be destroyed. There are no longer any clear targets that can be destroyed in these bases. That means sending missiles to such military bases or sending drones or anything else has become pointless. Perhaps the last strike was yesterday, when American forces were targeted in Bahrain, in the UAE, and in the Kurdistan region of Iraq. Iran said at the time that the strike caused the deaths of hundreds of American soldiers, and pay close attention that this strike, which was in the UAE, for example, at Dhafra Air Base, was a powerful strike. America was not expecting it at all, especially for it to be this precise in hitting the targets and to have such high intelligence capabilities. This strike is what made a number of international newspapers today say that Iran is receiving images and coordinates about these targets. They mean from China and from Russia. They say that Russia and China are providing intelligence support to Iran, which is what allows it to hit these targets with such high precision. So this strike was very serious because it destroyed the American Air Operations Command Center in the region, destroyed satellite communication systems, destroyed early warning radars, and destroyed fire control radars. And this was proven with pictures and evidence. And Iran said that the strike decisively led to the death of 21 American soldiers in Bahrain, and the injury or death of about 200 other soldiers in the UAE. So the strike was very strong, it was decisive, that's why. What did Iran say today? They said that now is the time to stop these attacks on the Gulf countries. But on one condition. The condition is that these bases are not used again in any attack on Iran. So the decision always remains in the hands of Iran. If they see any participation in any aggression from any of these countries, there will be a crushing response. This confirms to us again that the management of this war is still ongoing. Iran does not have full control over matters as it wishes up to this day. It is the one that decides when to strike and when to stop in a way that is strategically planned. But the surprise today, dear viewers, is that just minutes after the statements were published about Iran, and the Iranian president Bazeshkian even spoke out. The Iranian Khatam al-Anbiya headquarters means the joint military command center that brings together the Iranian army and the Revolutionary Guard, and which is usually controlled by senior commanders of the Revolutionary Guard. He made a statement responding to the Iranian president's remarks, confirming that the Iranian army respects the interests and sovereignty of neighboring countries. That's true, but they also said that American military bases, assets and interests in the region would be subjected to devastating strikes. This raises the question, is there perhaps a contradiction between the Iranian president and the Iranian army? This raises a question. Does this response mean that the Iranian Revolutionary Guard refuses to stop targeting American military bases in the region? Does this mean that the Iranian Revolutionary Guard is actually, as is being discussed today on various social media platforms, out of control, and that it is not under the authority of any political party until the appointment of the new supreme leader, meaning that today it has no loyalty to any party except after the new supreme leader is appointed? Especially since today, these attacks on American military bases in the region have not stopped. Despite Bazeshkian's statements today, they have not stopped. Kuwait was hit, and Jordanian scientists were targeted. So these are questions that remain unanswered. What's strange today, dear viewers, is that President Trump is clearly in a position where he's looking for any straw, no matter what it is, to turn it into a victory through his statements. Because today, as soon as the Iranian president made this apology to the Gulf countries, he took advantage of the opportunity. He used it to say what? Iran is now being defeated, and cooperation has begun, and it has started to surrender to its neighbors in the region, as if Iran was fighting a war against these countries, not against America or Israel, and now it has surrendered to them. Trump's statements are strange, and all of Trump's statements throughout this week of the war have been focused on this same point. They are promoting a fake victory for the American army, because he said in several statements that Iran has been completely eliminated. Iran is still in a position of strength. He also said that he destroyed all of Iran's air defense systems, that Iran's skies are now open and unprotected. But up until today, there are still planes, and drones are falling over Iranian territory on a daily basis. Almost every day, there is an announcement about 10 or 15 drones being shot down, whether they are American MQ types or Israeli Hermes types. And all of this is backed by evidence and videos that are being published, which means that there are still air defense systems operating. He also said that the Iranian naval forces were completely eliminated, but every day it becomes clear to us that the naval forces are still actively operating in the Gulf waters. And in the Hormuz area, meaning the Strait of Hormuz, there is a second Iranian frigate that headed to Sri Lanka yesterday. He also said that forces will enter the Strait of Hermes and will secure the passage of international ships and oil and gas tankers. but it turned out that the American army cannot do that. As soon as the aircraft carrier Abraham Lincoln approached the area, it came under fire, which made it leave the area immediately and withdraw completely. Because there is talk about injuries, there is talk about losses that this carrier suffered, which makes it difficult today for it to continue its usual operations in this area. And a few days ago, there was also an official report from Iran about the second aircraft carrier Gerald Ford being hit by ballistic missiles. And there is also talk from international newspapers, especially from American newspapers, about incidents of damage to this ship, damage that requires follow-up. It was out of service for weeks for repairs. Today, this may confirm the truth of this news. The American Fox News Network confirmed this, confirming that the aircraft carrier Abraham Lincoln was hit by a third missile strike, which they said made it impossible for it to remain in the area today, and impossible for it to carry out its role in the region. Fox News reported a very important piece of information today, saying that these incidents that happened to it did occur. The American aircraft carrier, this made the United States withdraw it from the region, and today they urgently sent another aircraft carrier to carry out operations against the drones instead of the one that was damaged. Yesterday they published a video showing images of aircraft while they were being transported from this aircraft carrier. These images are old, not recent images. The third aircraft carrier being sent to the region today is named George W. Bush. It was in the waters of North Carolina, and now it has started crossing the Atlantic Ocean toward the Mediterranean Sea. If there weren't actually significant hits to the aircraft carrier currently in the Middle East, the US wouldn't have sent this carrier, which will arrive in the region in a few days. This in itself is a drain on American forces. There it's a war of attrition, not only with missiles but also with ships and equipment and so on. Today there are reports that President Trump has started considering sending ground troops to Iran. This was revealed by the American NBC network, according to statements made by American officials. There is talk about a force consisting of 5,000 soldiers from the paratrooper division as well, who have been put on alert in preparation for upcoming orders. So, anyone who reads such news would think that Trump is about to send his American ground forces into war, or, to put it bluntly, into destruction, because a ground war in Iran means only one thing: burying these forces. But the observation, in reality, is that all of these are arrangements with a completely different purpose. For example, these paratrooper forces might be prepared to carry out an emergency evacuation by securing and protecting airports and vital facilities, such as nuclear reactors or others. Perhaps America is preparing for the worst case scenario, which for it is the collapse of the Israel. This could happen at any moment, pay close attention. Also, let's not forget Iran, it could happen. Iran has destroyed most of the American military installations in the region, so now it is necessary for America to plan to replace this equipment and the military vehicles that were destroyed. These are considered very important in the region for major conflicts, such as radars and so on. Today, there was an important statement from the former CIA intelligence officer Scott Ritter. What did he say? He said that America has no friends and no allies at all. He said that America is ready to sacrifice everyone to protect its own interests. A statement like this really makes us think differently. So, what scenarios could happen in the coming days and weeks? Because developments are moving at a very fast pace. Maybe just one development, maybe a very significant transformation could happen in the region. Iran has not yet started the response it promised, saying it would use new and surprising weapons. Just today there was a statement from the spokesperson of the General Staff. What did the Iranian army say? He said that Iran plans to escalate its attacks further against America and against Israel, and he used this phrase. He said that Iran will escalate them He said that great miracles will appear in this confrontation. At the same time, we also see American President Trump warning that the American bombing of Iran will expand and escalate, and it will include areas and organizations that have not been targeted before. This means that we are now entering a new phase in this war, a phase that will have very serious geopolitical and economic repercussions on a global level. And this means that we might witness major events happening in the region, because escalation will not calm the war. We are still at the beginning. Iran is standing strong. Iran is striking hard. It has surprises. Trump is in trouble, and now he will never accept defeat. We might witness a scenario of demise, God knows, because all scenarios are possible. We are still at the beginning, and we will see how things develop. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button. Peace be upon you. See you next time.